Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian at the Association of the United States Army's annual conference and trade show in Washington, D.C., and we've got with us Kevin Tucker, General Manager at FLIR. Kevin, great seeing you again.
You too, Vago. It's been a while. Thanks for getting together with us today.
I know last time we saw each other was at Farnborough. Obviously, this is the signature show. It's even more so because you're an Army veteran and a West Point grad. What are the hot products you guys are unveiling here?
Well, a couple of the things that are really important to us. Number one has been our legacy with the Army. We've been for years a key part of the medevac program, which to us is an excellent program to be a part of, and we're continuing that. Then coupled with that, force protection, the Army RAID program, where we put our sensors up and they're deployed to forward operating bases. The demand for that capability is high. So we've been engineering new systems that go into all those architectures constantly, and currently today we're deploying some of those new types of systems with the RAID program that are going out to U.S. forces deployed throughout the Middle East and elsewhere. And that's a great base for us. But it also gives us the ability to continually innovate. So one of the newest things we've done and are demonstrating here is the integration of laser designation capability into our Star Sapphire 380 HDC system. So there we take the strengths of a very compact, very well-designed system for a rotary wing or short height-restricted sort of platform, and now they've got the ability to designate along with the outstanding sensor capability on that platform.
You guys did very, very well financially, obviously, during the wars at their peak. Your product was in high demand. You guys have always put a lot of investment into developing new products. There's been a little bit of a trough. Talk to us how you're using this little period to reposition and to basically skate to where the Army's going to be, right? Because the Army's struggling to figure out what the next big roles and missions and everything are in terms of what that future force looks like. What are some of the things you're developing in anticipation of where the Army's going to be in a couple of years?
Yeah, the time when the Army was deploying rapidly, the 2008, 9, 10, they needed gear fast. And a company like FLIR with that commercially developed military qualified model just positions exceptionally well to where they could come to us. And when they say, we need these type of capabilities and we need them in a period of weeks, we can respond. And that's really what drove that success during that time period. And then as that need kind of tapers off, you've got to look at what do forces need today? Well, one of the key things they really need is that outstanding capability to go to places that you just don't know about yet. Where are you going to be? It's got to be deployable, it's got to be integrated. So that's why we've moved to some of these system architectures like this, which is a better integrated solution. So we've moved from just really good sensors to putting it together into a complete package that is absolutely ready to use. 5 years ago even, we used to be known for just a really good sensor package. Today, what we're able to deliver to the Army is a completely deployable force protection solution that's got a really good sensor, radar, it's fully integrated on the vehicle, it's deployable on all types of aircraft, goes in the back of a V-22 and it gets where it needs to go and is ready to operate instantly. So FLIR's moving ahead, so we've spent the money, taken the time to go ahead and continue to develop that sort of capability at our nickel. It's our R&D money, but we're paying very careful attention to what the operators in the field need.
You guys really have always prided yourselves on developing your own technology, maintaining your full IP. What is sort of, but every other year we talk, sort of the state of the art is changing in terms of the technology and where is this technology going to be in just a few years? What are the next big breakthroughs?
It's going to be dealing with the incredible amount of data you can get through a sensor. You can go to the store and get a 4K TV. Well, we can put 4K sensors in these, but moving that much, all those data bits, is a huge amount of information. So you need a really good way to be able to package that, and then you got to make it useful to the operator. One operator sitting in front of a multi-sensor capability with 4 extremely high-definition sensors, what are you looking for? So you need the analytics to be able to pick out, I care about this. Basically the find what I'm looking for capability and analytics. I think that's going to be one of the big breakthrough areas here in the next few years and something we're putting a lot of work into.
Your guys' business model has always been to invest and develop your own technology and then basically do cash and carry, whether it's as a subcontractor or whether it's directly to the government. Mm-hmm. Obviously, innovation is sort of the buzzword now in the Pentagon, and everybody's talking about innovation. We'll see what happens after the November elections, but chances are pretty good that folks will still be talking about innovation. How do you think that strategy is still going to be something that you guys are going to stick to? Do you think that that gives you the competitive advantage that it did a few years ago?
I think it does in a couple of ways. Number one, what we're doing, it is innovative. We can think fast, we can develop fast. We take the best practices from around the world and apply them, and we're putting together solutions we're very focused on getting it right, getting it fast, and having it be very reliable. At the same time, I think Department of Defense and Homeland Security are both looking really hard at that model. You look at what, like for instance, Mr. Kendall is doing for new innovative or acquisition reform type of structures, looking out to the Silicon Valley area to think, how do they do things fast? We have to think like that. And acquire things more like a consumer mindset instead of thinking, let's take 10 to 15 years and do a lot of research and development into an all-new platform. They are trying to do things this way as well to leverage those benefits back to the warfighter to get capability quickly. I think those two things mesh very well together. So I like our business model. I think it works well. We've seen that in the past, and I think it still remains as much as ever very viable for the future of defense business.
Let me ask you about commercial. That's a huge part of your guys' business. You pride yourself on developing for the commercial market, moving technologies back and forth between commercial and military. What's the future of the commercial market? What are the areas that you guys are seeking to dominate? A couple of years ago, you unveiled the FLIR one, which was just an incredible capability just to have on a cell phone. Talk to us about the commercial market a little bit.
It's growing. The big challenge there is to get consumers to think differently than they have, to understand the value for thermal. In the military space, everyone understands thermal. In a lot of the high-performance industrial spaces, people know what you can do with thermal. You can see things you can't otherwise see. And we're still continuing to build that knowledge base in the consumer space. And the other thing you have to do is get price points down. A thermal imager 5 to 10 years ago, even the most simple one, was still tens of thousands of dollars. Today we've driven that to where it's hundreds of dollars. It's now attainable for a consumer, and continuing at the same time to both build awareness, let people understand this can really benefit you in life. There's a lot of things you can do with this capability, and getting the price point down is absolutely what we have to do in the consumer space. I think there's a huge amount of potential in the commercial and consumer space, and the benefit comes right back. As we get those costs down, that helps the defense customer as well. As we're building more, for instance, uncooled focal plane arrays than anyone else in the world. Getting that economy of scale benefit directly benefits our military user, even through products like this.
And now let me ask you the most important question. You're a 1989 grad of the United States Military Academy. How do you think the season's going so far for Army, and what do you think it means for the big game?
The big game. Army's playing really well. They're looking tough. They're being smart. It's an outstanding team. They've had some setbacks on the team that makes them stronger. They've dealt with a loss that was tragic this year, but they're playing great. So all of us are optimistic, and with all my Marine buddies out there, you're buying me beer this year, guys. So go Army, beat Navy.
Kevin, thanks so very much as always.
Pleasure, Vago. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.